Welcome everyone to episode 4 of Rapid Reviews Radio. I am your co-host Kylie Wild, and I'm here with Pete Beckett. How are you?
I am fine. I'm actually improving. It's nice to know.
I was going to
I'm
say
getting better.
you sound so much better than last week.
Yeah. Thank you to the doctors that gave me those amazing pills that helped.
Are you sure they were doctors?
They were wearing a white coat.
Well, there you go.
Starting off strong with some off-color topics.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Yeah, that's how we do.
If this was YouTube, we'd be demonetized immediately.
Oh, I know. Thank goodness. We're not on
Yeah.
YouTube. No.
Not yet, anyway.
Not yet, but we will be, and we will be so good. We'll be good little angels.
No. I don't play by Google's rules.
Who needs money? We need free expression.
Yeah, I'd prefer my free expression over money.
Yeah, if I'm being
I don't
honest,
sell my
yes.
soul.
Exactly. Free expression any day.
You're right.
But I'm glad you're sounding better from the wonderful convention flu that I will probably be acquiring myself next weekend. Insomnia.
Yes, you will. Yeah, you will. I have been speaking to you over the week, and I mentioned to the people on Discord through our group that I actually had a chest infection, which was very weird.
Yeah, it was bad. So last week, for those that don't know, Pete went through an entire episode on his deathbed.
Not knowing I had a chest infection, so I sounded wheezy. I sounded like I had just smoked 40 cigarettes.
Yes. There was some coughing in there. Oh, it was a fun time. Had by all.
Yeah, it was fun and not fun at the same time.
I can't believe you pushed through that. So, mass respect.
Well, I do it for the fans. That's all I do it for.
That's right. We do it for the fans.
Too right.
But speaking of fans, this week's news stories.
Oh, wow. The fans have been going a bit mad on this week, so I'm going to apologise. There's not many funny stories this week because it's been a bit of a downer week.
It's a heavy week.
Yeah. So we're going to start off with some terrible pirating fans of Pokemon Sword and Shield.
Yes. Tell us about that.
So it turns out that Pokemon Sword and Shield have been released a little bit early to some people. It might be some review copies that have gone out. I don't know how this has happened, but some of the Dynamax forms and the starter evolutions have been leaked out onto Twitter. So this is a PSA to anyone who doesn't want anything spoiled. Mute the words Pokemon, Sword, Shield, starters, Dynamax, anything to relate it to Pokemon.
Yeah.
Mute those words on Twitter immediately until the game comes out because they are rampant.
Yes. Yes, I have to second that. Absolutely. If you want to avoid spoilers, do exactly that because they are out there like crazy.
Yeah. I've been lucky not to see any just yet, but I have heard mumblings from the guys at Game Explain that they have seen them and they aren't very happy with some of the final evolutions of the starters.
Yeah, that kind of mirrors exactly what I've read, and I too am avoiding spoilers, though I don't have as intense passion for Pokemon, but I do very much enjoy it, and would like to avoid spoilers if possible.
I'd like to avoid spoilers in any game that I play, to be honest, but this one is particularly bad because they've been so secretive about a lot of the stuff, and I've really enjoyed that.
Yeah.
Because most of the time they would put everything online beforehand.
Absolutely, yes. Their previous release had almost everything, all the evolutions and everything. I can't remember what that one was, but
yeah.
But I was very disappointed.
Yeah, it was very unfortunate actually that one of the big surprises going into Sun and Moon, and spoiler for this if you haven't actually played it, but you've had long enough to play it now.
Yeah. I mean, come on.
That Red was actually in the game.
Yeah, that was it. That's the big one, and I was just like, why do people do that?
No, it was unfortunate in that sense because actually the Pokemon Company put that out a couple of days before the game came out.
No!
It was
Oh,
so weird.
that is very strange.
Yeah.
Ugh, I don't.
I will say that music during that battle
Ugh.
is utterly superb, though.
That is one thing that is pretty consistent. Pokemon music is, it's just so, it's good. I mean, that sounds funny, but it's consistently good.
Yeah, there is a YouTube channel on that does put out a lot of Pokemon music called
Oh,
Pokeley.
aw,
He is got some really good stuff going up on there. I've listened to a lot of the
excellent.
soundtracks through that. He has actually just put up the battle theme for the trainer battles in Pokemon Sword and Shield, and I'm not super jazzed for it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it might be different when I'm playing the game, but I wasn't that hyped for it, and I'm
Yeah.
usually quite hyped for Pokemon music.
Ah, that's that's quite disappointing. Um,
Yeah, but I'm gonna save it until obviously the game comes out because I
yeah,
listened to the first 30 seconds of it and I was like, I don't know if I want to go any further with this.
yeah, I can understand that.
Yeah,
I do recommend, however, if you ever get a chance, to look up the cartoon theme song, the epic metal version.
yeah, that's good.
It's amazing.
Mm. I do have a suggestion for one song that you should listen to is from Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to remember the name of the trainer's theme. It was actually in Smash Brothers. They did a remix for it in
Oh, okay.
Ultimate. But that music is utterly incredible. I'm gonna have a little look up. So carry on talking whilst I just check this out.
um, well, do you want me to keep talking about Pokemon?
Yeah.
Because I could talk about
Well,
Squirtle. I love Squirtle. He's
yeah,
my
go ahead.
boy. I want to be part of the Squirtle squad. And if I ever get a tattoo, I don't have any tattoos, but if I ever get one, it will probably be Squirtle and his sunglasses because I'm basic that way.
Mm.
um, but yeah, no, we were talking previously, and I always tend to go for water types. I don't know
Yeah.
why, but like since day one, since the very first Pokemon game I've ever played, I've always gone for water types. So I'm very excited for Sword and
I,
Shield.
yeah, I've always gone for the fire types because I don't know why I'm a noob like that.
Because you're full of fire.
No, because apparently the fire type is actually the easiest version. To be fair, that's what they say.
Well, yeah. I don't know. I mean, maybe. I think they've all got
Well,
their challenges.
yeah, they do, especially with the older ones. Like they were
Mm-hmm.
so difficult because of the amount of
Yes.
grinding you had to do.
Yes,
That I
absolutely.
was telling you off stream beforehand that the stupidity that I had with Sun and Moon, where I'd over leveled my Incineroar to the point I only ever used him.
Ah, you were OP.
Yep, Lawkeeper Zinnia, that's the one.
Ah, okay. I'll have to put that on
That
the.
music is incredible.
I'll put that on the list. I'm
Please do.
I'm basically now have a rapid reviews radio list of music.
Good. I think
Yeah.
that might be something we actually put out on
I think
somewhere
we
that we
should.
should
Oh yeah,
actually
we
have a
should do a
playlist going.
Spotify list.
Oh, we should
Yes.
put our podcasts in there and then
Yeah.
chuck a few in there.
Yeah. And we get some consensus from the other rapid reviewers.
Yes, we shall. Shall we
Okay.
move on to the
So
next story?
yes, exactly.
Okay, which more controversial topic do you want to talk about first?
Let's get our old favorite over and done with. This will be like the fourth week in a row. But they keep doing it. But let's hear about BlizzCon.
Oh, yes. So BlizzCon 2019 is happening this weekend, which is the 1st to the 3rd of November in Anaheim, California.
Yes.
Now, there's been a few announcements there, but we're going to start out with the fact that J. Allen Brack had opened the show with an apology about the Blitzchung incident.
Mm-hmm. Which was very much what he needed to do. So.
Yes, but it did feel like a non-apology at the same time.
Well, yes. Also that.
It has also been come out because I think the quartering has been quite heavy on the fact that he has been trying to notice a lot of stuff with it. That actually he was wearing a Blizzard Pride pin whilst he was
Ah,
giving this speech, which goes against the whole
yeah,
political messages.
yeah,
So there
yeah.
might be a little bit of a hypocrisy there. Now, a lot of what the people were talking about here is the fact that they issued an apology about that. They said they acted a bit too hastily, and then they didn't communicate quick enough after the incident happened.
Yeah,
Which I don't disagree with.
right.
I'm happy that they at least acknowledged it and said something about it because there were some rumors going around beforehand that he was due to make an appearance at the opening ceremony.
Yes.
Um, but what they probably should have done is probably should have not banned Blitzchung and just said we've unbanned him and the two shoutcasters and gone from there. But
Yeah.
I, I don't know. This is why a lot of the internet has sort of gone a bit mad about it. But it did sort of feel like a non-apology.
Mm-hmm. No, I have to agree with that. It it's felt as if it were written by a PR person, which most apologies, public apologies are. Um, but it didn't have authenticity in it.
I would kind of disagree with that slightly because
Mm-hmm.
I was watching it live and I did see that he was a little bit torn up about the whole thing. It did feel a little bit PR-ish, I will agree with that part, but
Right.
when he did say sorry, it did
It
feel
felt.
like it was genuine.
That's well. No, that's good because I didn't watch. I only read. So I'm actually glad to hear that, and we'll go ahead and watch now.
Yeah, I think you
Yeah.
should watch the opening ceremony because
Yeah.
I felt it was quite genuine, and not a lot of the internet have agreed, but my stance on it is that they probably should have unbanned Blitzchung.
I have to agree with that 100%. But
Yeah,
we've both said that since episode 1.
of course we have. So
Yeah,
yeah.
so yeah, but I'm curious. I want to know about the protests,
Ah,
and
yes.
yes, and some of what the how do I say this? What the things represented.
Yes. So a lot of people have been standing outside the Anaheim Convention Center with free Hong Kong banners.
Mm-hmm.
Um, somebody took a van out that had all of the companies like Apple, Blizzard, and all that, saying that they were in support of Hong Kong, of China.
Right.
Um, so they've been quite rampant with their protesting, and they have every right to do so. Like
Yes.
it's the right to free speech, which is a key staple of the American culture and should
Absolutely
be in
is.
every culture around the world.
Yes.
So
Absolutely.
so long as things don't get violent, I'm
Mm-hmm.
more than happy for people to voice their opinions.
Yes.
But one of the funniest things is the amount of people cosplaying as Winnie the Pooh.
Yes, I love it. I love that and the LeBron James mask.
Oh wow, I actually hadn't heard about that.
Yes. I think this, now this is just an opinion, but I think this is one of the most creative uh, um, protests that I've ever seen.
Me
Um,
too.
yeah, and I'm really, really enjoying the creativity that is coming out from
Me
that.
too.
Yeah.
Um, did you by any chance happen to catch the World of Warcraft Q&A panel?
No.
Oh wow, a lot of the questions were not questions, they were just free Hong Kong.
Oh, oh,
They're just people going up and saying free Hong Kong,
oh. I just,
which is quite funny.
that is so good. I'm like,
Yeah,
I love nonviolent protesting.
yeah, so do I. It's
Yeah,
so much fun.
it is. It is. I think, again, opinion here, but I do think a lot more can be accomplished nonviolent, when it's something like this.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
It
absolutely.
requires discussion, and this is what
Yes,
what it's having
absolutely.
is with people actively voicing their opinion in a non-violent way. It means that people can sit down and actually have a conversation about it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But
Um,
shall we move on to the games that were
yes.
announced?
Yes.
Because that's what we're all here for, of course.
Yes, of course.
So Overwatch 2 was announced.
Which is interesting.
Yep. Diablo 4 was announced. World of Warcraft Shadowlands, which is the new expansion for World of Warcraft, as well as new Hearthstone cards were announced.
Yes. I want to know,
Yes.
Do you feel that some of this was hastily announced to throw off attention?
Yeah, I think they needed to put something together very quickly to try and deflect away from that. Overwatch 2 did not look like it was ready to be shown.
Yeah.
Neither did Diablo 4.
Now, I did watch. So, yes, I absolutely agree.
Now, for me, Overwatch 2 feels like it should have been an expansion, not a full retail release.
Yes, as someone who... Well, I was going to say who does play Overwatch. I'm going to be honest. I haven't played Overwatch in a few weeks now, and I'm not missing it.
Okay.
So Overwatch 2 is supposed to bring people like me back into the fold.
Yeah.
And I have to agree. That's exactly what it felt like, an expansion, you know.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's ready.
No.
And I think the same with Diablo 4. I think it's rushed. And didn't I read, correct me if I'm wrong, that it's going to be online only, no offline capability?
Really?
Yeah.
I hadn't heard that.
Yeah.
Well, that's super interesting.
Yeah. It's just, I think they struck out more with Diablo 4 than they thought they'd accomplish, if that makes sense.
I think that it's mainly because people were looking for Diablo 4 last year at BlizzCon. They got it Diablo Immortal, and it caused a bit of a ruckus.
Yes, that's right. Yes.
To quote one of my favorite films, could you describe the ruckus?
Very good. Yeah. It's not going to have an offline mode and will require an internet connection, which Blizzard said during an interview. And there's a reviewer said that, well, not a reviewer, but someone in the know said that they don't think that it's going to be released anytime soon. So
doesn't surprise me at all. I wouldn't be surprised if it doesn't release until at least late 2020 or early 2021.
Yeah, so that was an old bait and switch.
Yes.
I feel like, anyway.
Well, the one thing that concerned me, actually, with the Overwatch 2 trailer is how little gameplay there was.
Yes.
But they did actually show a lot of the gameplay afterwards, which is kind of a smart move.
It is. But, I mean, you have to wonder how much of... I hate to sound so cynical. But you do have to wonder how much of that is edited, how much of that is... putting, shining up the not so great to make it look better than it actually is. I will admit, I'll freely admit that I'm being quite cynical to Blizzard right now, but I think that that's not unwarranted.
No, I don't disagree with you. And actually, we're changing the name of this podcast to Cynical Reviews UK.
I think that would actually be very fitting.
It would be, but I think you're right. Blizzard haven't given us any reason to trust them at the moment.
No, I will agree with that.
This whole controversy has soured a lot of people, and I think a lot of this was already known anyway, because coming out a couple of days before with the leaks that all of these games were going to be shown.
Yeah.
So
that was not a surprise. Yeah.
No. It was nice to see them. It was good. The fans of Diablo who got the raw end of the deal last year got something to get them excited. The only thing that I would say in the cynical side of me as well is that a lot of the people who've been actively protesting Blizzard have now seemed to have switched quite quickly after these games got announced.
Oh dear.
It's like, oh no, they're not supporting Hong Kong. Oh look, Overwatch 2 is announced. Yay!
Yeah, that's what we're hoping was going to happen.
Yeah, the old flip-floppers.
Yeah. We'll just have to watch as it develops, because I'm sure we're gonna report on it some more.
Check back next week for more Blizzard news, probably. Let's
But
hope not, because I'm kind of sick of talking about Blizzard
I
now,
know
if I'm honest.
I'm so kind of soured on them right now, and I'm trying not to let it come through, but I don't think I'm doing a good job.
No.
But
The thing is, we just report the news here. That's
that's
all it
right.
is.
Yep.
We give our little silly opinions, of course, but
Yes,
if they're
ultimately.
always in the news, we can't change that.
Yeah, exactly. But speaking of being cynical, let's move on
Oh my
to
gosh.
yes.
So November 1st will go down as a day in infamy
hmm
in this year's gaming news, as the day that the Death Stranding review embargo lifted,
Yes.
and the day that the internet collectively lost its mind,
Yes. 100%.
which is some of the scores that have been said. Wow.
Yeah.
Now,
Um.
to go into this, obviously, if you don't know much about Death Stranding, it is Hideo Kojima's new game from Kojima Productions.
mhm,
He was partially working on this whilst he was still under Konami's rule
That's
in
right.
a small little office that he was locked
Yes.
away in.
Yes.
Um, but the game has been about 3.5 years in development, along with Guerrilla Games, who made uh, Horizon Zero Dawn. They lent their Decima engine to this.
hmm
And I'm going to admit the game looks super interesting, but also super boring. Um, but a lot of what's come out from this is apparently that a lot of the discussion, and especially the discussion I had with Toby at EGX and we had a couple of weeks ago,
hmm
was that we don't know much about this game.
Right.
Oh, we did. Kojima laid it all out onto the table and people were making too much of it.
Yes.
He's been
Yes.
notorious for years for being very secretive about a lot of things, but he actually had told us everything that we needed to know.
Yeah. Uh. Yeah. I agree with that.
Mm,
And
But
yeah. No. You go ahead, and then I will throw in my
yeah,
wonderful cynicism.
yeah, this is hard to sort of get out because I've been internalizing this literally all day
yeah.
over the last couple of days.
hmm
The review scores have been anywhere ranging from 100% to as low as 35%.
Yeah.
And this is what I disagree with vehemently on this one, is that a lot of the outrage mob
hmm
have come out on social media and have verbally attacked some reviewers for their low scores.
Yeah. I can't support that.
No, I can't
It's
either.
yeah. It's just an opinion. It doesn't matter. It doesn't affect your life one way or another. So don't verbally attack people for
I
having a
mean,
different opinion.
exactly. I mean, these people haven't. The people who've reviewed it have played the game. We have not. We
Exactly.
can't make
No.
any judgment on a game that we have not played. But this is what a lot of people seem to do nowadays.
Yeah. And I mean, I've always added disclaimers to my own opinion about Death Stranding, which is no, I'm not excited for this game. It looks boring. It's beautiful with the question mark.
No, I
but,
think the game looks stunning.
well,
I think
I'm thinking now
I
the graphics are fabulous, but it is a very flat, like it's very gray, very browns
yeah
and stuff. Um,
yeah I think if I know what Kojima is like with storytelling, I know there's probably a reason for that.
right. See, and that's really the point I'm getting to is that I'm still very hesitant to say, oh, this game's gonna be crap, or oh, this game's gonna be the greatest thing ever.
Yeah,
I'm waiting until I actually play it. I will say this. Like I said, since day one, I've not really felt this game. And we talked about this offline, which is seeing that very first teaser, 4 years ago or whatever. I
yeah,
believe it was on Kotaku. Um,
yeah.
Norman Reedus and holding a fetus.
That is just weird.
That was weird.
That
It
was super weird.
it piqued my interest, but not enough to go, oh, I must know more. I felt kind of, I don't know. I just didn't like it. But, hey, let's watch because it is Kojima.
Yeah.
But I will tell you what's kind of I don't want to say sealed the fate for me because that's not fair. I'm going to give it a chance.
Okay.
But it's big star after big star after big star that he's got in this game that's been mocapped in the game. And then Conan O'Brien as a shopkeeper.
Yeah, that did not interest me one bit at all because I'm not a particular big fan of Conan O'Brien at all.
I don't like the God, it sounds so hipstery, but I don't like that there's so many big names attached to this in pop culture, and I wonder how that's going to affect the quality. Just point blank. That's it.
I kind of do as well, but I also do think it's kind of a smart move by Kojima to do this because it will get some non-game players involved into the story because they'll look at these people and go, "Oh, I remember Norman Reedus from The Walking Dead," or "Oh, I watched Doctor Strange where Mads Mikkelsen was in there. Okay, I might give it a try."
Well, that's in fact, I have a friend that does not play video games, but she loved Hannibal, or I think that was what the series was called. Yeah, Hannibal and Mads. As soon as Mads showed up on screen in one of the teaser ads, she was like, "Yeah, you have to teach me how to play this." And I was like,
"Yeah, it's where he has." Yeah, that's the one where he has the goggles and he does the ninja sort of pose, doesn't he? And he just loses them. And to be honest, as soon as Mads Mikkelsen was announced, I was like, I think I'm on board for this because I love him. I think he's a superb actor.
Oh, he's a fabulous actor.
Apparently his story is like one of the best in the game as well.
Well, see, now that's why I can't give a oh, this is going to be crap, or oh, this is going to be great, because I got to see how that plays out. Maybe that's going to be really, really good.
I would agree.
So holding my cards close to my chest, I'm not excited, but I am curious.
I'm on the different spectrum here on that respect because I wasn't excited about this game at all. I've started reading the reviews. I had a look at a lot of the gameplay after reading the reviews. I've been internally monologuing with myself as to whether or not I decide to get this on day one or whether to wait.
Yeah.
So I'm still debating. I'm currently sitting there, and to be fair, my partner did actually say to me, "Why don't you just wait until after Christmas? It might go down in price." Which, as a non-game player, she has got the fairest point of all time.
I was gonna say that she's not wrong.
No, she definitely isn't. So.
But it's like we were saying. For me personally, I'm not going to get it day one. Because I think this game has been quoted as being a game about a courier.
Yeah.
And
apparently one of the missions in it is like literally makes you play out as like a pizza boy.
Yeah, see, yeah. I already have my favorite game as a courier, and that would be Fallout New Vegas. So.
You just can't go a week without mentioning Bethesda, can't you?
I have a secret love for them. No, I do not.
No.
I have a secret, not so secret love for Fallout New Vegas.
Okay, that's fair. That's entirely fair. We'll leave it at that. But I'm just going to say one last thing about this because I think we've spoken quite a lot about it. As reviewers ourselves, I hate the idea that people were getting verbally destroyed on Twitter and social media about this.
Absolutely.
There were a couple of reviews that I read that were a bit sketchy. I'm not going to name the outlet that I had read because I felt their review was highly politicized and it talked about the game in some ways, but also had some very off-color jokes and some swears in there as well.
Right.
I didn't think was right for a reader demographic.
Yeah.
And to be fair, the reviewer from that outlet has been particularly outspoken about a few political discussions that I think shouldn't really be discussed. Look, you're more than welcome to have your politics about that, but we're here to review games, not to talk politics.
Exactly.
I mean, one of the things that they particularly mentioned is that they didn't pick up a gun until 22 hours in, and that's about the same amount of time it takes to get a gun in America.
Oh,
which I didn't find that very funny at all.
that's yeah. Wow. Yeah.
See what I mean? It's a bit too political for my liking, and I thought it it was kind of a really bad off-color joke.
Yeah. I've made no secret that I'm quite irreverent in my reviews, but
Yeah,
I try to stay away from anything except for the review.
yeah,
Because
my
that's what
point
people are
exactly.
there for. That's what they read. If I can throw a chuckle in there too, okay, but it's always centered around the review. But by the same token, I'm in complete agreement with you that don't
Yeah,
attack people. Don't that
too right.
why? You're not going to change
We
anyone's opinion. Why do that?
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
We all, I mean, we're all reviewers over here. We all
Hmm.
respect each other's opinions
Oh,
to a certain
absolutely.
degree. And even though these outlets are not our colleagues, they are our colleagues at the same time
Right,
because we all
exactly.
do the same thing. So
Yes.
please don't go and attack people for having a differing opinion.
Yeah.
It's what makes this great is the fact that we could all have a different opinion
Hmm.
and be able to discuss it in a fruitful and somewhat thought-provoking way.
Absolutely. Yeah, I love generating discussion. That's why I will frequently say on here, if I'm wrong, just tell me. You can always comment on my Twitter or whatever if I'm factually wrong. Um,
Yeah.
I love discussions, and if you feel that a review I did completely differs from your opinion, I invite discussion, but don't throw in. I don't have the patience for all that crap.
Yeah, I I am more than open to have a discussion about one of my reviews because I know I'm
Hmm.
not the best person to talk about some of the things that I do,
Yeah,
and I openly welcome that sort of thing. I am more than happy to have someone criticize me because I don't take
absolutely.
it to heart.
No way, exactly.
I welcome it because it's what helps us grow.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I will even preface games like I reviewed The Surge 2, and I prefaced it with the fact that I'm not the biggest fan of Bloodborne type games. I'm not good at them.
I don't
So,
think anyone's good at those kinds
oh
of games.
gosh, yeah. Um, so I try to preface it with that, but I know that that is a very important series to a lot of people out there, and
Of
the game
course.
mechanics and stuff, they really love that. So
Yeah.
I respect if people look at that review and go, "Oh no, I loved The Surge 2 and all its bloodborniness." Um,
Yeah.
like, and
Uh,
then to tell come on, tell me that in a very rational
yeah.
discussion. I'm happy. I love hearing from other people. Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, there's been games that I've not been super down with, like over the course of time. I don't think I've written any sort of really negative reviews about anything.
Hmm.
I mean, the only thing that I can talk about, obviously, is um, the film magazine that I'd done a review for, John Wick Chapter 3,
Oh
where
yes.
everybody raved about that film, and I absolutely loved the action in it. But
Hmm.
what brought this review score down for me was the lack of story.
Yes,
And
I can see that.
it's half the reason why people loved it was because it was so self-referential in the fact that it was terrible that
Hmm.
I personally didn't enjoy that.
Right. Right.
As beautifully shot as that film was,
Hmm.
I like a good story, and that's just me
Yes.
as a person, and that's
But that
yeah,
does. Yeah.
that just meant I wasn't super down with that, to be honest, and
Exactly.
I gave the film a 6 or a 7 because of it.
Yeah. Well, I mean that highlights perfectly just the reason why people read so many reviews by different authors is because we all are coming at it from our own experience, our own eyes, our
Yeah,
own what we like. I love story and character driven games, movies, all of it, television shows.
yeah,
Other people not so much. They like action. They like really intense melodrama, or they like light comedies.
yeah.
So we all have our different likes and stuff, and I absolutely don't like. Okay, I'm gonna say something controversial. I
You
hate.
always say
I
something
do.
controversial.
I'm not scared. I
Okay.
I hate Friends. I hate it. I've hated it since my mom used to watch it, and that is not an opinion that is shared by a lot of people. Um,
But it is shared by your co-host.
oh, I'm so glad to hear that.
Yeah, I'm not down with Friends at all.
I've never liked it. But my general friend group, my acquaintances and stuff, they absolutely fiercely love Friends. So so there's quite a disagreement sometimes.
Yeah.
But I respect that they have an opinion, and they kind of respect that I have an opinion.
Yeah, it's exactly the same thing I had with one of my colleagues at work, actually. She has just restarted watching Friends
Oh gosh.
on her lunch break, and I said, "How can you be watching that? It's not that great a show." And we had a little bit of a disagreement about it, but then
Yeah.
we came away from it. We had a biscuit and a
Yeah.
cup of tea, and that was it. We
There
were
you
done.
go.
It was nice.
That solves everything. That's what the UK's got over the US. A biscuit and a cup of tea. That solves all of life's problems.
Well, just look at EastEnders. Literally every conflict is solved by tea.
Yes, and for those that don't know, EastEnders is what we would call a soap opera.
We call it that as well, but we also call it trash.
Yeah.
Just my opinion, of course.
I found out not very soon when I moved here that my grandmother was a very, very big fan of EastEnders. So
I won't go into what I call EastEnders, but
I can use my imagination.
I will tell you off
Yes.
the air.
Okay.
But moving on anyway.
Yes. On to our next segment. And this, we're gonna do it brief, but we're gonna always have this. It's the "You Got This" section. A lot of people have mentioned how this is they enjoy this very much, and going on the idea that you've you've downloaded this on a Monday morning, and you're on your commute to work, or just starting your week off. Mondays are tough.
They always are.
They are. That Sunday night before the Monday morning is just.
But honestly, the amount of tweets that I see on a Sunday night where it's about 8 o'clock in the evening and go, that anxious moment where you realize it's nearly Monday. It's like, this is so true.
It is. It just, that sinking feeling comes in. But you know what? Monday is a new beginning, and new beginnings always mean new, exciting challenges, and you don't know who you're going to meet. You don't know what you're going to get to do. You don't know, what funny thing is going to happen that week that you're going to laugh so hard that your ribs hurt. Those are my favorite moments.
I've had that a lot this week because my chest has always been hurting. But to be fair, I actually have had a colleague at work trying to make me laugh on purpose because he knows it will hurt me.
That's my.
To be fair, it's been nice.
I'm that kind of mean person that if I know your chest is hurting or your stomach's hurting, I will make you laugh so hard.
But it is nice though to see that someone can make you laugh like that. Laughter is what can. Yeah, laughter is something that can bring you out of the unfortunate hole that you might have dug for yourself.
Yes. In fact, it's been referred to on the old days in the internet, and I still refer to it as this, but a unicorn chaser. I usually, if I can get pretty down, as everyone does, and you get bogged down in your brain and your thoughts. But then I pop on the funniest scene in IT Crowd, and it makes me laugh. I'm laughing now.
Let me guess.
Would you hazard a guess? I have two, so you've got a 50-50 chance.
It's the episode where the fire happens in the office and he's trying to contact the fire department. I'm guessing.
That is number 2 because Moss is so calm and everything, but the one that cracks me up.
Fire! Exclamation mark. Fire! Exclamation mark.
I love that because I feel connected to that. That's how I'd be. Yeah. But no, my absolute favorite is the opening. I believe it's the first episode of the second season when Dunham is introduced and he's running down. It's his father's funeral.
Father!
Oh, spoiler alerts. The father, that part.
That's so funny.
But then when...
Unhand me, priest!
Unhand me, priest. Where is your God? but when Roy's phone goes off.
Oh,
and
God.
He's like, I'm having a heart attack!
Oh,
he's like,
no.
Oh my God, I'm having a heart attack. I'm not lying. I'm not going to say the cuss word, but...
yeah, I know. I want to mention a quote from that, but I can't because it's rude.
Yes. But
stop it, you're going to blow my something off.
But you see, that right there, it doesn't have to be the IT crowd, although why wouldn't it be? But go
agreed.
out there, find yourself a unicorn chaser, whatever that may be. Watch it a little bit. What I used to do, I own my own business now, so I don't have to do it so much now, but I used to work in a corporation, and I had my phone, and I would download movies and TV shows onto it, and secretly have those going while everybody else is listening to their music. But when things got a little stressed, I would just go watch that scene, clear my brain, have a good laugh in the bathroom about that scene, and come back to work refreshed and ready. So
too right.
Yeah, take a moment, find your unicorn chaser, and you got this. It's gonna be a good week. Yes.
Yep. Try to make the best out of the week of what you can during the hard sort of situations that you might be going through. Have a good laugh. Yes. And try to see the beauty in the world.
Yes, absolutely. So, yes, moving on to this week's topic.
Yeah. Now, this is another one that I came up with whilst just having a little brief moment to myself, just walking around as you do whilst I've been ill.
I was going to say, now that you can walk again.
Yeah, slowly but surely. But we thought it was a good idea for you to get to know us as the people that you would listen to for an hour and a half, 2 hours a week. So we wanted to go over some gaming memories.
Absolutely.
I've got some really good memories of like games that I've played over the years, or just general good moments that I've had over the years. But I wanted to hear some of yours first. So, I wanted to know, what was the game that made you fall in love with gaming?
That one is actually quite easy for me. When most of my gaming equipment growing up was all secondhand, either passed down from my older brother or just bought at random garage sales. I've mentioned that before. So I got my hands on a Game Boy, and this was when Game Boy Colors had already been out.
Yep.
I want to say the first 3DS might have been out, but I don't know. But I know Game Boy Colors have been out, so this was old, and I got it for like $5. I loved
nice,
it.
Cheap, always good.
Yeah, and I was like very proud of it. So the game I got with it was Link's Awakening.
Oh.
Yeah, which was the Zelda game for the Game Boy.
And yeah, the non-colored version.
Yes. That's why I'd mentioned the Game Boy Color had been out and everything.
Of
so
course.
I had, I was going to say black and white, but it's more like sepia and white. I don't know. Green and white. I don't know. Green and black.
We'll call it green and black.
Yeah, there we go. But yeah, something about the storytelling that was my, like, I'd played games, obviously. Everyone, growing up plays video games. But something about that triggered a kind of just love. It's a story. It was very involved. It was an RPG because it's, Zelda.
Of course.
And I just fell in love. I was like, this is the best thing I've ever. I would stay up. I still have a tendency to do this. I would stay up like 24 hours straight playing.
Oh, yeah, wow.
I'm a bit obsessive. But I will say there was one one downside to it.
Lack
To
of sleep.
well, lack of sleep. But when you play a game that much, uh, when Link loses a lot of his health and he's on like half a heart, there's a beep, beep, beep that
Oh
goes
yeah,
off.
that got
Even
really annoying.
Yeah, well, even when the game was off, it was still in my head. I
Of
was just
of
like,
course it was.
oh, because I'd played it so much. It was just
Yeah,
in there. So that actually, that kind of frustrated me, but it didn't stop my love of Link's Awakening. So that was the
no,
game that did it for me. And what
that
about you?
noise, that noise buried deep into your soul that you can still hear it right now.
I literally can hear it right now.
Yeah, I can as well.
Now, so can all of our listeners.
Yep. So for me, this is a bit of an. It's not an unusual story. It's a story of me and my brother. Unfortunately, my brother doesn't play games anymore, which is a bit of a shame. But
Yeah.
as we were growing up as a kid, we were lucky in the fact that we did get a few consoles over the time. So he may get one, I get the other, or
Oh, that's very good. Yeah.
so I managed to get a PlayStation 1 whilst he'd got an N64.
Yeah.
But this is before that and when we had the SNES.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
Um,
yes.
so one of the games that I was super interested in the SNES, but never managed to get my hands on it until later, we always managed to borrow it off of someone, was
Mm-hmm.
Super Mario Kart.
Oh, yes. Oh.
So we used to borrow that off of someone who lived a couple of doors down from me, and we would sit there in his room playing Super Mario Kart together, listening to the defunct Now CDs.
Yes.
So we'd have the
Oh.
music going on there, and I just remember sitting there for hours on end, just me and my brother just playing Super Mario Kart, just unlocking all the courses whilst listening to this terribly cheesy 90s music. And
So good.
I don't know, it is one of my fondest memories, and one of my favorite memories of me and my brother, actually, because we are like chalk and cheese, the pair of us. So we used to argue a lot, we used to muck around quite a lot, but we always had a love of certain things like that and wrestling, so we would
Oh,
always
that's
connect on
good.
those sorts of things. So but
Yeah.
I think it was that and Mario World that made me fall in love with gaming.
Mario
Just
World was a great game.
yeah. There are lots of games over the years where I've fell in love with the art form that is gaming, but
Mm-hmm.
those are the ones that really cemented it in my mind that I was going to be a game player for probably the rest of
Yes.
my life.
Oh, yeah, we all have that moment where it separates the casuals from the dedicated.
Oh, too right. It definitely filtered my brother out of it.
Yeah, I
I,
mean, yeah, same thing for
uh,
mine as well.
yeah, I think he eventually got sick of me beating him at Smash Brothers on the N64 because I had elevated to a point where he just couldn't beat me.
Yes, you'd gotten so good.
That and Luigi was cheap in that game.
Ah, yeah, oof. Yeah, that's bringing back some memories for me.
Yeah, it was the fact that he
That's
could
very
connect with
good.
his up and B uppercut like far too
Yes,
easily, and it was just
it's
because it was
exactly it.
because it had the diagonal arc like Mario's did. It
Mm-hmm.
was literally just Mario palette swap.
That's exactly it. Oh
Yeah,
gosh.
it was destructive.
Yeah. Yeah,
But
I remember staying up for like New Year's Eve, like staying up all night playing with my friends for Mario
yeah,
Kart, Smash Brothers, all that, just playing just till
yeah.
yeah. Good times.
Okay. Can I recount a short but favorite memory of a game that I played on the 360?
Absolutely.
And now, if anyone hasn't played this game, to those under the age of 18, maybe not advisable, but Condemned.
Oh,
Oh
Condemned
my
is
days.
good.
I love that
Yeah.
game.
Ah.
But the story of this game is one that will stick with me for years because my friend was a big Condemned fan. He loved every second of that game.
Mm-hmm.
And whilst he was living at home with his mum, I used to go around there quite a lot. We'd been friends for many years. So he had a surround sound set up in his room.
Oh.
We played the game with the lights off,
Oh my
the
gosh, that would be
surround sound
amazing.
on, and we sat there, and I have not literally pooped my pants that much. Not literally, of course, but the amount of times where we would both jump out of our skin because
Oh
we'd
my
hear a whack from
gosh,
behind us from the
yes.
speakers, and it would boom throughout, like through this sofa that we were sitting on. It was
Oh
horrible,
my
but
gosh.
it
Yeah,
was intense.
that would be the absolute best way to play. 100%. Oh my gosh. That is
Ah,
amazing.
it was so good. I can still feel that pipe being swung round the back of of Ethan's head.
Oh my gosh. Well, see, and that's really, I mean, going back to what I said about separating the casuals from the dedicated. I said it
Yeah,
tongue in cheek, but I actually do mean, you know, for gamers, um, gaming is not just a here's a puzzle, I'm going to solve it. Now, I do love
yeah,
that, but a lot of us are connected on a level because we get afraid because we're supposed to be afraid, like the music or
yeah,
the sound effects, or there's a story we connect with, or a character like Arthur in Red Dead Redemption 2. I
mm,
connected with, like, I I don't connect with humans very well, but game characters, I'm just, and that right there is like, I will always be a gamer. Always. I will be 96 years old, sitting on a porch in Mars, playing a handheld game. I know I will.
yeah. Because we all know that the Outer Worlds has definitely infected your soul that much that you think that we're going to be on Mars by the time when you're 96.
That's right.
Mm,
ah. And that actually brings up another point, and then we'll move on. But
yeah,
there's a character. I'm not giving any spoilers away, I promise. But there is a
yeah.
character in Outer Worlds, Phineas Wales. I'm so, like, I love it. I'm like, I love this dude.
Yeah,
you know.
I've heard that a lot from people who've been talking about the game quite a lot, that
hmm
there are a few really interesting characters in that game.
Well, that's what Obsidian has always done. They have their finger on that literary pulse, where they
Yep.
can create fully dimensional characters on a two-dimensional medium. I just
Yeah.
love that, absolutely.
Okay. We will move on in a minute, but I did have one other question for you, and
Sure.
this will be a short one. What was the first game you ever played?
Oh yes, that's an interesting one. Um, because I was itty bitty. Like, I needed my
Yeah.
brother. My brother's like eight or 9 years older than me. I've never sat and done the
Yeah.
math. So he's was already like a grown up, and
Yeah.
he had to pick me up so I could play this game. But we have God, what do you guys call them? We call them gas stations. I think you call them like
Petrol stations.
petrol stations or garages. Garages.
Yeah. A garage. Yeah. Petrol garage or something
Yes.
along those lines.
So we have corner stores, gas stations, or whatever. And in the
Yeah.
small town I lived in, it was 10, 20 years behind the rest of the United States. Um,
Yep.
and there was this gaming cabinet, and I was just obsessed with it. And so one day I was just like, please, I want to play it so bad. He's like, but it's too old for you. It's too grown up.
Yeah.
You can't do this. Like, please, please, please. And finally he did it. He picked me up. I sat on his knee while he leaned me over the cabinet.
Yep.
And it was Gauntlet. And
Wow.
yeah.
What a game. What a game.
And I just was like, oh, this is the coolest thing. And I was just punching the button, shooting the little demon guys. And,
Of course.
I just loved the guy going, the elf needs food. The elf is
Yeah.
about to die. I still say that to this day when I'm hungry.
It really did make that much of an impression on
Oh,
you
it
then.
did. It did. Yeah, like, I've gone back, obviously, and played it, and it's fun, and I enjoy it, but nothing compares to that first moment. I got to punch those buttons, and they responded to what I was doing, and it killed the weird shaped demon guys. And yeah, that was it. That was my first game that I ever played.
Okay.
What about yours?
This is going to be no surprise to literally anybody, because I think I mentioned a love of the series before, but my first ever game, and I'll just recount the story of it, was I was about 4 years old. I'd gone round to a cousin's house who had just picked up an NES. Now, lucky them, they had a little bit of money on their side, so they could go and afford things like this. So
Yeah.
lucky them.
Yep, I had nephews the same way. Got to play a few
Of
things.
course.
So yeah.
Yeah, of course. So I remember being round one of their multiple houses, because they moved around quite a lot.
Yeah.
And we were sitting in the third floor, I think, of their house in like what was like a converted attic.
Mm-hmm.
And they had the NES set up, and we just got round, and they were playing Super Mario Brothers.
Oh yes. Oh yes.
I remember watching them playing it, and I was like, "What the heck is this that you're playing? Like, I don't understand even what's going on here." So one of them then handed the controller to me. "Do you want to have a go?" I was like, "Okay then." So at that time, I didn't realize there was a run button, obviously.
Right?
So I was just casually walking through the level. And
Yes.
there was one point in which that first level where you can't get over unless you run.
That's right. Yeah, it's a jump.
They then told me about that, and then obviously I managed to clear through the level and didn't really get much further than the World 1-2, but well, I was only
right,
4.
though. Yeah, I was gonna say that's actually quite good.
Yeah, I mean, the underground level was a little bit awkward with the platforms at the end of there anyway, and
oh gosh.
obviously I obviously didn't know about the secret warps and all that, but I now know all of that. But
well, of course. But
it not only is it my first, but it's also one of my fondest memories as well. That
absolutely.
And it is exactly the reason why I love the Mario series, because it was the first series that I'd ever played. So
yeah, I mean, the Mario series, it speaks across to everyone, because for most of us, it was our first, experience. Non-gamers have played Mario in some form.
Yeah, we mentioned this last week with the music, didn't we? Everybody knows what that music is.
Absolutely.
Everyone knows who Mario is as well. His design has slightly been modified over the years. Everybody took him out of a lineup.
I will say this one quick thing, and then we'll move on to listener questions. But my older sister, she would play Super Mario, but she was dating a guy who eventually became her husband and my brother-in-law, named Mario. And so,
oh wow,
when they would fight, because that's how boyfriends, girlfriends do, she was like, "No, I'm not calling him Mario. I'm calling him Little Man. So jump, Little Man, jump." Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So I always have that kind of memory tied to it, and I just love it. It's just so like cute looking back.
So you would say she was the Cooper to his Mario?
Yes, absolutely, 100%.
Oh wow,
that's too funny.
That is awesome though.
Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna move on to listener questions.
Yes, got some good questions this week.
Very good ones. Yeah.
We usually would put 4, but we usually put 3, but we got 4 this week because one of them's quite a short one, which we thought was a good one to also talk about as well.
Yeah.
So I think we'll talk about this one first, because this is an interesting one, and I want to hear your experience as someone from across the pond.
Sure.
So this question comes as courtesy of Thomas at LlamaFluff42 on Twitter. What's your Black Friday predictions for console prices, and would you recommend an Xbox or PS4 purchase this late in the generation?
Well, I do have an extensive experience with Black Friday. As for the predictions, I feel like that both Xbox, and PS4 are going to drop dramatically during Black Friday. Because there are new consoles out on the way and they need to, sell off stock.
Yep.
So I predict quite a price drop. And then this late in the game, honestly, if you can afford it, get both. I have a feeling that the price will drop enough that you could. But a lot of people will say that PS4 has a larger games library. So it really comes down to, are you a God of War fan or a Halo fan? And if you like one more than the other, go with that.
I don't necessarily agree with that principle now, because with Xbox Game Pass, there is such an extensive library on there now.
That is true.
I think getting either console, especially with PlayStation Now having the price drop recently, has made it a little bit more of an interesting prospect. So I think a lot of it necessarily does depend on what you said. Are you a Halo guy or guy or gal? Yeah. Or are you a Last of Us or God of War fan?
Exactly. It comes down to exclusives, but
you're right. It does with anything really, even the Switch.
Yeah, absolutely. 100% agree with that. But I do find this question funny, because Black Friday over here in the UK is nothing. it's still relatively new. It is. Yeah. Although, having said that, not that I'm going to disparage my new place of residence, but Northern Ireland did make the UK news last year for their not so polite behavior during Black Friday.
Of course.
Yes. Yeah.
And to be fair, we've all seen the stories from America where people have died people have been crushed as going into stores like Target and Walmart.
I will tell you this.
Come on, people. Nothing is that important that you need to shove people out of the way for.
I will say this. I mean, I already have a problem with crowds and stuff. But my mother was a diehard sale fan. Like, if something was on sale, she was there. So yes, there is a lot of childhood memories of putting the Thanksgiving dishes away and dressing up in your warmest clothes, because it's actually cold at night in Texas around this time, and going at 3:00 in the morning to sit outside in a long line at Walmart for Black Friday.
That's dedication for you.
Yeah. So, and I remember this one incident, sure enough, it is very much like it is on the videos. They open the doors, people run in. I'm trying not to panic. And,
of course.
My mom's like, go get this, go get that, go get this, go get that. Like, it's random stuff. And then one of the things I think was, it was a tire, like a tire lift, but it had like, I don't know, like some kind of hydraulic lift or something. And, to help you change your tires. Which we didn't need. And she was like, Kylie, go get it right now. I'm like, we don't need this. She's like, yes, but it's $10. Go get it. So, when I became...
You're the one talking sense there.
I was like, what? So when I became an adult, I had to respectfully bow out of Black Friday sales. I just couldn't do it. It's chaos. It's pure chaos.
And it's probably the reason you're still here today.
It is, yes. I survived the great Black Friday wars.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. So, obviously, for people who may not know what Black Friday is all about, it's the day after Thanksgiving in America, which is where it comes from.
Yes.
Where a lot of the sales happen, because they've obviously closed over the Thanksgiving period. Yeah. And they want to try and get people interested in some good deals before Christmas.
Exactly. That's it. That's exactly what it is. And I will tell you this, as a kid, because I'm a very literal-minded, boring, nerdy person, I couldn't understand why they called it Black Friday, and it was so positive and good, because Black Tuesday was the day that the Great Depression happened. So I was very confused as a child. And now I know it's it's because it brings the stores and stuff into the black, which means profit. whereas
Yeah,
in the red would mean debt. So yeah.
yeah, exactly. So, to answer the question, actually, because I haven't really
Oh
mentioned that
yes,
much about
yes.
it, I think getting an Xbox or a PS4 this late in the generation is not a bad idea.
Yeah.
You'll get them for a good money, I
Mm-hmm.
reckon. And if I had to make a prediction on it, I think the Xbox One X, which currently retails for about £450 brand new,
Mm-hmm.
that may go down as low as £300,
Yeah.
I reckon.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So probably about 350 for $350 possibly
Yeah.
if you're overseas in America.
I would
And
agree
the
with that.
PS4 Pro will probably go a little bit lower than that, but
Yeah, they
uh,
usually do.
and to be fair, they do usually have some really good bundle deals on them as well, like with a couple of games and
That's
stuff like that.
Yeah, that's a good point. I did forget about bundles. Black Friday is notorious for bundles. You're absolutely right.
Yeah. Also, if you've been looking to get an Xbox One X or something like that, and you also haven't got a 4K TV, this is the perfect
Mm-hmm.
time to probably go and buy one.
Yes, um, absolutely. Yeah, you will start to see the 4K TV's price drop. I 100%, yeah,
Yeah.
over the next year, as it becomes more accessible. And that, yeah, because they'll want that, released so that when the new consoles come out, it can be all impressive and stuff.
Of course. Which nicely segues onto our next question.
All right.
So this comes courtesy of 2D at 2D Mike on Twitter, who is also actually one of our writers.
Yep.
So thank you, Mike. Not the Overlord Mike, I must add. But what do you make of Xbox All Access? Good or predatory deal?
I love this question because I tend to think in parameters like this.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Do you want to explain what Xbox All Access is first?
yes, actually, that's a very good point. You basically pay a monthly fee if you want to do it monthly, or you can do it a one of.
Yep.
Um, and you get access to a list of games that you wouldn't, you don't have to go out and buy them. You have access to them. It's
Yep.
for a limited time,
Yep.
and then they change up the games as the months go on and stuff. But yeah, it's a literally what it means is you pay a fee,
Yep.
a certain amount, and you get all access to a list of games. Um,
Yeah. So now what I thought this was as well, and I'd heard this from another place as well, is that this is sort of a very similar principle as like getting a mobile phone on layaway
mm-hmm,
or on finance. So you go out and spend a X amount. So I think one of the things that you could do was for about £25 a month, with 0% interest, was you got an Xbox One X, Xbox Live, and Xbox Game Pass in that fee.
mm-hmm.
So you would pay this amount each month, and it would be 0% interest. And if you were to miss two payments, then the interest would go up a little on it, of course. And then around about the time when Xbox Scarlet comes out, you could refresh onto it after about 12 to 18 months, and then
That's very
basically
interesting.
start a new contract.
Oh, that's
It's
very
like
cool.
it is essentially like upgrading a mobile phone in that respect.
Right. Now, see, I didn't actually know about that aspect because I own my consoles. Um,
Yeah, me too.
yeah, so that's actually really cool. Now, as far as it being good or predatory deal, um, I find it to be good. I'm very very risk averse when it comes to money and financial stuff.
As
um,
you should be, really.
yeah, well, I mean, as a business owner, I kind of have to do that. Um,
Yeah,
otherwise, I don't have no money.
of course.
But I will say this: I got Outer World on the All Access pass this month,
Yep.
and I did it for the fact of I think I paid something like 15 quid or something. I got a really really good deal on CD keys. Always check CD keys, kids. Um,
I would recommend that as well.
yes, and I did it because I kind of knew I was gonna love the game, but I wanted to be absolutely sure before I sunk an entire 40 quid.
Agreed.
Yeah, which is about $45-50. And
Yeah.
uh, so yeah, so I see it as good for me because it allows me to take less of a risk before, going and buying a big purchase.
Yeah.
The last risk I took was I paid the full, I think it was like 60 or 65 quid for Red Dead right when it came out, the day it dropped, Red Dead 2.
Phew.
Yeah, I did because I wanted it. That was a risk, but I'm glad I
It's a
took it.
huge risk.
Yeah, it was a risk.
Yeah,
Um,
I took the risk as well, and it was a risk I wish I hadn't have taken.
yeah, because I don't know if we've mentioned it before, but you're not as big a fan as Red Dead. Um,
As big a fan is an understatement. Let I found the game to be super awkward, and
yeah,
I feel that I personally
you
feel that the controls in that game are last gen.
you punched your horse.
And shot it.
I
That
I I have to say I never punched or hit or shot my horse. So
to be fair, the sound off that came out from the horse after I shot it was heartbreaking, but it was quite funny at the same
I
time.
know I'm laughing, but yeah, I there's some compilation videos of
Yeah,
people punching their horse, and
yeah,
I love
yeah.
it.
If Peter are listening, please just don't come after me.
No,
It was a video game
it's a
horse, not a
it's a
real
fake
one.
horse. Yeah, virtual
Yeah,
horse.
yeah. Okay,
uh,
but I'm gonna
yes.
throw my hat into the ring here with this one.
Hmm.
I think this could be both. This could be a good and
Right.
predatory deal at the same time.
Okay.
So I think the idea of putting a console on layaway is a great idea
Absolutely.
if you
Yeah.
can't afford it. But if you can't afford it, should you really be going out and getting one?
Oof. That's a good point. Ah, that's a good point.
I personally feel you should probably save your money. Just save up, get them
Yeah.
when you can. But if you have a mobile phone and you're paying for it on monthly, then if you have got the money and you don't want to slap down £450 on a big purchase like an Xbox One X,
Yeah.
then go ahead. If you
Yeah.
could afford it, do it. The 0% interest is a perfect idea because it doesn't punish you for wanting to do things over a monthly basis.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you can't afford it, if you can't afford to do things like that, then don't do it. But on the other hand, this is definitely better than places like Bright House, who
Mm-hmm.
charge you an exorbitant amount of interest.
Yes. That is definitely another warning I want to throw out to especially young people. And this is goes to all countries everywhere. It's
Yep.
very important that you pay attention to the APR or the
Yeah, the interest
percentage.
rates.
Yeah, the interest rates, the percentage. Yeah, exactly. Because that's where the predatory side can come in quite a
Exactly.
bit. But also to kind of just attest to the layaway saving up thing.
Yep.
When I had my first job. I got my first job at 16 because in America you just turn 16 and you work.
Yeah,
And
we can over here as well, to be
oh,
fair.
okay. So I went to work and PlayStation 2 had just come out and it was
Blimey.
like $250. And that was with
Yeah,
no games bundled.
yeah, that was a lot of money, to be
Oh,
fair.
yes, back then I thought I'll never get that. So I took I guess it was a very adult move on my part. I put it in layaway, I put a down payment on it. And every week, because I got paid every week, I would go
Yeah.
and I would, put my money down. And yeah, it took like 3 or 4 months. It was a long time, especially for like 16-year-old.
Yeah,
That was
but
took
it
forever.
did mean that it
Oh,
definitely did mean that you got the console right there and then, and you
I
could play, you
did.
could enjoy
It
it,
was,
and
and
it
it was
gave you a reason.
mine. And
It gave you a reason to go into work because you knew that you could come
exactly.
back
Oh,
after a long day at work and go, oh, I've got this PlayStation. Oh yeah, I've got to pay for it. Oh, but that's why I work. And, you know,
exactly. And like I very much enjoyed getting every time you'd make a payment, you'd get the receipt and it would say like your balance going down. And I
yeah,
would just like, there was such a satisfaction and reward to that. So
Mm.
I do encourage that. If you're on the younger side and have the ability, pay attention to the predators because they are out there. Pay
Yep.
attention who you're, getting stuff from. If you can, try to get it
Hmm.
from Microsoft. Um, and yeah, go for it. It's a great feeling,
Of course.
but always be aware.
Absolutely. Be smart with it. Don't
Yes, yes,
don't be silly. If you can't afford it, then
yeah.
maybe just save a little bit of money. Put
Hmm.
if you want to do it on layaway, maybe have a chunk that you want to pay off to
Yes,
start with, and then you can ease the amount of payments you're paying over the month or the months and years that are coming.
yes, that's
Just
exactly
just
it. Yeah,
but just be careful with it because obviously if your situation changes whilst you're paying that off and you aren't able to pay, they
yeah,
don't care. They
yeah.
really don't care.
No, no.
So long
That's
as
the
they get the
thing.
money,
Yeah.
that's where the predatory side of things come in. So
Yeah.
be very, very careful of it.
Yes. Always be aware.
Yes. Okay. Next question is a weird one. I love the weird questions, to be fair.
I do too. Send us more of your abstract questions.
Yeah, and this isn't gaming related as well, which
No.
is quite fun.
Well, I guess it could be if you were.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway. Cooking
So
Mama.
this. Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
I forgot those games even existed.
I did.
Okay, so yeah, so this comes courtesy of the Gaming FYX podcast, which consists of three of our writers as well. So thank you
Woo!
guys.
Shout out.
Yeah. So how do you get the best consistency out of your risotto?
To be fair, I don't think anything you or I could say would be better than the answer we received.
Oh yeah, we got a good answer from this, and we debated about this early on, didn't we? Like, well, offline. We're not
Yes.
sure who asked this question from this because it does feel like the person who asked this also answered it,
Yep.
which I found amusing, to be fair.
I love it.
So I'm gonna try and find the response. So do you want to answer this whilst you're?
Yeah. In another life, in my previous life, I actually used to sell food, and I released a cookbook
Do you
called.
want to give a plug for that?
I am gonna give a plug.
Good.
It is called the Unsweetened Life Cookbook. It is a wheat-free and refined sugar-free cookbook for any health nuts out there.
Sounds very nice.
Yes, and there is a recipe for risotto in there.
Lovely.
Yes. Now, I don't want to take away from the answer because I do love the answer. It's perfect. It's dead on. But I'll tell
Yeah.
you a little secret. If you
Yeah, go
like,
ahead.
if you like mushrooms,
Which I do.
Yes, I love mushrooms. Get yourself. You can get a blend now. You don't have to get the 100% pure, but get yourself some truffle oil. And
Ooh,
yeah, at the very end, right when you're about to take it off the heat, just stir just a little, just put some drops on there. Hey, if you can get your hands on some real truffles, great, a few in there.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, that's a little out of my pay scale, but hey, if you can do it, go for it. But yeah, no, just add that little bit of truffle oil. Oh,
It sounds delicious.
yes. But what was
Now,
Sam's answer?
well, I'm gonna give the answer in a minute. I'm gonna say here, I have never made risotto before.
I'm shocked and appalled.
Me too. Me too. But can I, to preface this, can I tell you a little story?
Absolutely.
The reason why I got into mushrooms.
Oh, hey, I'm down for this. Yeah, let's hear about this.
Not the magic kind.
Darn it.
No. No, the reason why I got into mushrooms is because of my mum. My mum saw my love of the Mario series and
Oh.
told me that if I ate them, I would grow big like Super Mario.
Oh, that is the most wonderful thing I've ever heard.
To which, because of it now, I now eat mushrooms. Which, oh my god, nobody does that, but I'm just weird.
Well, Oh, that is lovely. I love that.
Yeah, it's a wholesome story. I love
It
that as well.
is. I love wholesome.
Okay.
I do
Okay.
actually. Wait, before you say that,
Of course.
I do eat, or not so much now, but I used to eat quote raw mushrooms.
Yeah.
And I did it to gross out my friend, who is
Of
still my
course.
friend. She comes and visits me over here. And she hates mushrooms, like with a passion. And so I
Yeah.
eat them raw in front of her just to tweak her. And then one
Yeah.
day I was eating them in front of her to tweak her. And
Yep.
mentally, I went, Kylie, you're eating fungus. I like vomited. I was like,
Damn it.
okay, well, I'm not eating raw, quote, raw mushrooms ever again.
Oh, I wash them off first. I'm not that much of a savage.
I still love mushrooms, though. Oh, they're wonderful.
Yeah.
But yes, continue on.
Yeah, but just to preface that as well, when I first went round to my girlfriend's mum's house to go and have dinner with her and her brother used to have a plate by the side of him because he absolutely hated mushrooms.
Oh, no, picks them
So
out.
he would pick them out of a spaghetti bolaise,
Oh,
and I would
no.
literally just reach my fork over
yeah.
and just grab them straight off of his plate, off this little
Absolutely.
side plate. So yeah, okay. So Sam at SGCH on Twitter, which is one of the guys from the podcast, has answered our question for us.
Yes, in the best
It
way
says,
possible. Absolutely.
yeah, it's a good answer. Fine
Yeah.
answer. So it's all about the time that you take to add your stock. Do it ladle by ladle, making sure that the rice has absorbed it properly by dragging a line into the mixture.
That's right.
If it stays separated when you remove the spoon, it's fine to ladle again.
And that's, yeah, absolutely right.
Yep, too right. I actually wanted to take this moment to say congrats, Sam, for recently
Yes.
becoming a dad.
Yes, absolutely. Oh,
We hope that little Pete does manage to make it through.
yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Best wishes for sure.
Yeah. You picked a fine name there, sir.
I did wonder if you were going to say anything about that.
Too right.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay, so we've got one last question. This is kind of a short one. Not a short one, but kind of a short one.
Yeah.
So this one comes to us again from Thomas at LlamaFluff42. He's now our biggest fan, I think.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Good man. He's now asked
I'm
the
his
question
biggest
to
fan.
literally everyone. I am too. He's a great guy.
Yes.
Nicest man, one of the nicest men on Twitter.
Yes, I agree. 100%. Love it. Love it.
Yeah.
Love it. Love it.
Okay. So what is your favorite movie of 2019?
That's super easy for me, and it possibly will mirror you quite well. Absolutely is Joker. 100%.
100% agreed.
Yep. Yep. I know that it's upset a lot of people, which is kind of why I like it. But
that's not surprising at all.
yeah, and but yeah, it's a throwback to a time when cinema was more about art and making a statement. I mean, everything from, I mean, yes, even the font use is just so I just love it. But I'm never speaking really negatively against the Avengers and Marvel type movies or the new Star Wars. I'm not. Again, everyone has their opinions, and
Of
those.
course.
They're a good form of entertainment. I find them very entertaining, but
Yeah.
kind of coming back to what we said earlier, I absolutely love a good story / character driven, plot, and definitely Joker is it for me. I think a lot of people have forgotten that the Joker is a villain. So there's not going to be a happy ending because he's a villain.
I'm not going to go in too much into it, but he does kind of get his happy ending in the end, but it's not the happy ending that the audience would see as a happy one.
Yes, that's actually exactly what I'm trying to say is there seems to be a kind of, well, I'll say this really quick and then move on.
Go ahead.
There seems to be a trend in the last, 4 or 5 years of turning villains into antiheroes. And it's like the TV show Once Upon a Time. They did that. There's a couple of parts. Game of Thrones does that.
Yep.
Maleficent from Disney.
Oh yeah, they've got the new Maleficent movie out
Yeah,
now as well.
exactly. And it's like we've been hell bent on changing our villains into anti-heroes, but they're villains. They're villains for a reason. And the Joker stays true to that. If you go in remembering he's the bad guy, I think it sits better. Maybe. Or don't watch it if you don't like bad guys. If you want good to triumph overall, I would avoid that.
Yeah. I went into Joker with no expectations, no preconceived notions whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
I went into it knowing that it was just going to be a character-driven film.
Yes.
And that's exactly what I loved about it. It is the epitome of why I love cinema.
Oh, yes.
I love a good plot, a good focus. I mean, it's crazy that it makes you sympathize with this horrible character. And to the people out there who said that this film was incredibly violent, it's not that violent.
It's not.
There is a couple of shocking moments, but that's about it.
And again, if you know anything about Joker as a character, they're not surprising.
No, of course not.
Yeah.
And to be fair, I think you raise a good point of turning a villain into an anti-hero. Definitely something that I've seen a lot more trending on film nowadays.
Yes.
But it is definitely a staple of something that's been in comic books for a very, very long time.
Yes.
You just look at characters like Deathstroke, Deadpool,
Magneto.
people like that. They are
Magneto's
very much... they flip-flop between being villains and anti-heroes all the time.
That is true. That is very true.
We definitely had it with Deadpool, like Deadpool 1 and 2, where he's not a nice guy.
No.
Everyone sympathizes with him.
He's a merc with a mouth, but he's a mercenary. He kills for money.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm not going into those films at all because I'm not a big fan of them at all. So
really? Oh my gosh, we need a film talk type.
No, I there is only one character in the Marvel universe that I absolutely cannot deal with, and that is Deadpool. I hate him.
Even in comic book form?
Yeah, absolutely.
Really?
I actually used to play Deadpool in Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3 to annoy my friend because it used to wind him up something else.
Is it the smart mouthness or what
I hate the fourth wall breaking.
Really?
Yeah, I don't like that constant nudge to the audience. I'm not a big fan of it. I think it can be done very well, but he doesn't do it very well.
Yeah, I can see your point. I can. Now see this, ladies and gentlemen, is how you disagree with someone.
Yeah, exactly. We have literally just had a small debate here as to why we like or dislike a certain character. And I don't hate you for that.
I was gonna say and I don't take offense that you hate my absolute favorite comic book character that was ever created.
that is absolutely fine because I know not everyone loves Batman, but I absolutely love Batman.
No, that is true.
There you go.
No, what I find funny about Deadpool, I'll just say this really quick, is that he was created by one of the worst comic book artists / creators ever.
Yep.
Ugh.
To be fair, there is only one story that I quite like of Deadpool's in the comics, is where he defeats Thanos by or Galactus by talking into death.
Yes.
which I found it's really funny, to be fair.
I think that was a what if issue, was it?
I think it was, yeah. It's the same thing as a what if issue with Squirrel Girl, I think, wasn't it?
Yes.
Oh my god, she's the most OP hero in all of Marvel.
Yes, exactly. Oh god. So, okay, join us next time on our comic book talk.
Right. Just to preface this question a little bit, I wanted to go over some of the amazing and somewhat disgusting films I've seen this year.
Yes.
In cinema, because this year I've seen more films in cinema than I have done for a very long time.
I wanted to throw a quick little disclaimer out there.
Yeah.
I've only watched one movie of 2019.
And that's right.
And that would be Joker. I have ADD, so unless I'm very, very interested, like Deadpool or Joker, it's very hard for me to sit through movies.
Yeah,
So
that's
yeah.
completely understandable.
Yes. So I'm very excited to hear about your list of
Okay.
movies.
Yeah, so the first film doesn't count as a 2019 film, but I did see it this year, was Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
Yes, I've heard great things.
Amazing film, but I
It
can't
was,
count it in this list, unfortunately.
yeah. But it gets a nice
So
shout out.
it does, but that was quickly followed up by probably one of my most hated films of the year, or two of my most hated films of the year.
Oh?
Captain Marvel
Yeah.
and Hellboy.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I wish we had more time.
Yeah, I could
Yeah.
not stand Hellboy, and
No,
I
Hellboy was.
love Hellboy.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
love the character. I love the
the
comics. The
character is.
graphic novels are absolutely superb, but that
Yes.
film,
Yes.
diabolical disgrace.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Um, I also saw Shazam, which was surprising, actually.
Was it good? Because I like Zachary Levi or Levy.
Yeah,
For
yeah.
Chuck. I like Chuck.
I liked Chuck as well
Yeah.
back in the day.
Yeah.
It hasn't aged particularly well.
No, it hasn't. But I still love the very best line. That is not an Xbox, and you are not an X-Men.
That is good, to be
But
fair.
anyway, yes. So how was Shazam? Was it? Is it worth?
Surprising,
Okay.
surprising. For a DC EU fan film, it's probably the most comedic,
Okay.
which understandably because of Zachary Levi.
You're right.
But it was surprising. I was quite impressed with it actually. And to be fair, Mark Strong is a good villain in it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm gonna have to give it a watch.
Yeah, that was then added to a couple of weeks later with the biggest cinematic event of the year. And my goodness, this was the most fun that I'd had in a cinema,
Really?
which was Avengers Endgame.
Mm-hmm. Again, I didn't see it.
Oh, oh. I do like the film, but I think Infinity War is better, personally.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. But the whooping, the crowd reaction, the pop-offs, everything. I saw it day of release. It was something that I had never seen before, and I was very, very impressed by that experience as a whole, even though the film didn't catch my attention as well as it should have done.
Right.
I have gone back and watched it again, but I'm not the biggest fan of it, if I'm honest.
Yeah. Yeah. I've got my problems with the MCU, and
Me too.
yeah, and I've said this before publicly, so I'm gonna say it again. Infinity War felt very manipulating. I felt like they made Spider-Man super young on purpose, and then
They did.
when they did the press junket and they left out, I quote, chairs for the fallen, empty chairs.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, I'm done.
Okay.
Yeah. But that's just
Yeah,
me.
that's
That's, again, differing opinions. It's okay. But,
Yeah, that's fine.
But I love the idea that you got to be in that buzz and the audience was, really into it. I love that. Now that's great.
Of course. And I had seen Infinity War the year before, obviously. And that was also a very interesting experience. Not for the same thing, but because obviously that ending is super like depressing and dark.
Right.
The whole crowd was literally silent, like throughout the whole credits. Absolutely silent. Not a single word was spoken or a single rustle was happened at all. It was crazy. It was so interesting to see that.
Now, see, I kind of like it for those types of things. I should probably hit the movies up more.
You should, but I would agree. But the next one I'm not going to talk too much about because I actually saw this in a press junket and a screening. Was John Wick Chapter 3.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Amazing action, but not a great story. So I'm going to link it to the show notes. If you want to read my review for it for another outlet, then go ahead. I will put it in there.
Absolutely. That's great.
The next one was a film that I'm not hyped about in any way, shape, nor form, and I was so disappointed with.
Which
this may annoy a lot of people, by the way. Toy Story 4.
Oh gosh. Oh dear.
All
Yes.
I'm gonna say is GTFO. That's it.
Yeah. And I'm gonna second that. For the
Thank you.
same reasons. Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah,
Yeah.
total cash
Ab-
grab. That's all I'll
absolutely.
say.
Absolutely.
Um,
Mm-mm.
the next one was Spider-Man: Far From Home. Wasn't super jazzed about it either.
Yeah, I forgot about that one. Ooh.
Yeah, no hype whatsoever for that one. I
Yeah.
literally saw it. I saw it for cheap.
Oh gosh. Oh dear. Yeah.
Uh, and
Yeah.
then the last two films that I've seen in the cinema, one of them was Joker, which we've spoken enough
Mm-hmm.
about.
Yeah.
But the other one was my second choice and would have been the film of 2019 had it not been for Joker.
Mm-hmm.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
I want to see that. I forgot
Um,
about that.
it is outstanding.
I have heard it is like it's massively great storytelling. Um,
If you love Joker,
mhm.
you will love Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. It's a real cinema fans film.
Oh, good, 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 good.
Very character driven, very humorous at times, shot expertly. It is
Oh, yeah.
beautiful.
I should probably clarify as well that when I say that I have problems sitting through movies, not movies that are well done.
Yeah,
I've stayed
just
away from movies mostly because it's not. I just like deeper movies. Is really what it comes down to.
yeah, me too. I
Yeah.
much prefer a real character driven
Oof.
story, which is
Yes.
why off air we were talking about a
Mhm.
Tom Hardy film. That's a recommend for anyone to watch.
Yes, I will be watching that over the next day because it looks really good.
Yeah, we've kind of touched on it here, really. That I think our second love outside of gaming is
Hmm.
movies, and we
Absolutely.
absolutely love them. And
Yes.
it's exactly the reason why I do the odd bit of work for a film magazine.
Absolutely. Yes. It's just very strange, but the more time that goes by, I really am starting to see the kind of connection between movies and video games. They're both art forms to me.
Too
Um,
right.
yeah, and I guess it's kind of the same with video games. I'm drawn to more deeper, games. Not that I
Yeah,
don't. I do love the kind of puzzles and trials
yeah.
and little shoot 'em ups and stuff. I mean, I played Overwatch, so um, but yeah, I like to see that it's becoming more. Look, I'm gonna say it again. I know you'll get sick of hearing it, but Red Dead Redemption 2, there are some stunning moments of just acting that is
Yeah,
it's mind blowing. Um, and I love to see that video games are going in that more narrative
yeah.
direction. Ah, just love it. Very excited
To
for the
be
future.
Yeah, that is absolutely what I did really love about Dead Redemption 2
Mm-hmm.
was the performance capture that they
Oh,
had, and the story was quite compelling as well, even though I didn't get through most of it.
yes.
That what It's just the game itself. It is a game first and foremost, and it
Yeah.
didn't push the right buttons for me.
That
But
might
I have
be. Um,
gone.
well, I was gonna say that might be a good topic for the future.
Yeah, definitely.
Because gameplay versus narrative. How
Yeah.
important is it? Because that comes back to the QTE games. I
Ugh.
can't do those. I'd rather. I
Ugh.
just don't have. Yeah, no.
Yeah. I Thinking about it, I did actually miss a film out, and it's a good
Oh.
one to loop back round to.
Mm-hmm.
Detective Pikachu.
Oh yes, I do want to see that. I really. Is it
I-
good?
It's probably the best video game movie out there, but that's
Well,
not saying
that's
much.
not saying much at all.
No, I'm not going to go into it too much because I
Okay.
think it might annoy a few people.
Oh, right, right,
It's
right.
super obvious. The plot is incredibly obvious. It's
Well,
so simple,
yeah,
really. But to be fair, they didn't need much. The
yeah,
visuals are amazing, and it's something worth looking at. To be honest,
yeah.
it is a good film, but it's not the greatest film like everyone was making it out to be when the previews came out.
Ah, right. Yeah, I definitely am gonna give that one a watch for Ryan Reynolds reasons, but
Of course.
Yeah, so I'm gonna watch that one as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just looking forward to the absolute train wreck on 14th of February on my birthday. That's
Oh.
gonna be Sonic.
Gosh.
I'm
Oh
going to
my
watch that on my
gosh.
birthday, and my girlfriend has no arguments about it.
Oh my gosh, that is going to be
A train wreck.
Yeah. Yeah. It is.
That's why
It
I'm going to
just
watch
is.
it.
Yeah,
It'll
it's
be
one of those
to see it crash and burn.
exactly. It's yeah. I'm excited. I definitely want to hear your review and take on it when the time comes.
Yep. Don't worry. That week when I have watched it, it'll be a few days later that we record, so you'll get the absolute in depth about it.
Oh, that'll be great.
Yep.
But
that's going to finish this up.
Yep. We do want to do one little mention, which is speaking of emotional narratives and such. We still have the Anchor contest going on.
We do.
It will be closing out soon. We've got some really great entries that I'm kind of excited to read.
Oh, they're great.
Yeah, they really are. Like, I relate to them so much. I can feel it just as I'm reading it. I'm like, yes, I know that feeling.
Me too.
So
it's going to be hard to pick a winner.
Oh, that's why it's going to be a random generator doing it.
Of course.
But
yeah, you've got until the 8th of November to get them in at 11:59. So put down Death Stranding for a few minutes just to tell us.
Just to tell us. Or tell us how Death Stranding made you feel. There you go.
Oh, yeah, that's an interesting one. That can be emotionally charged.
Oh, that's for sure. Why did I spend all this money? But right. I think that's going to do it for us. Don't forget to check us out on rapidreviewsuk.com.
Yep.
We're also on Twitter at rapidreviewsuk. And where can they find you?
They can find me on Twitter at PeteBeckett1. Where do they find you on the Twitterverse?
I am at Kiley Tegreet. So that's KILEYTEHGREET. And I have a Facebook, a public Facebook, but I think I'm gonna shut it down. I'm done. Facebook's over.
Yeah, I'm not gonna make that same comment again about the boomers.
I know, but it's the truth. It's
but you say that about Facebook, but you always forget about the Rapid Reviews UK Facebook page.
I do. So yes. Stay on Facebook and join us at Rapid Reviews UK on Facebook.
If Facebook is your platform of choice, then go ahead.
Yeah, do that. Yeah, but you know what I'm thinking? I think it's next weekend when I go to Insomnia. Next weekend. Might do some live feed.
Ooh, that'll be interesting.
Facebook and we don't have an Instagram, do we? So Facebook and Twitter.
Yeah, we don't. We don't.
Yeah, so I'll probably do some live footage from there.
But actually, that does feed into something very interesting as well, because you can follow us, the podcast, on Twitter.
Woo! Yes.
We've set up a Twitter page.
That's right. We got us a new home.
We have, which is RR Radio Pod.
Yes. Definitely go there for updates and contests and just to interact with us. Yeah, talk to us about games and tell us all the opinions that you hated.
In a nice way, please.
In a nice way.
We are more than willing to have the debate in the nicest way possible. Please do not throw shade our way.
Yes, and I would love to find out, like, if I'm wrong about something factually, but again, I love to know other people's opinions. Maybe I missed something. So always feel free to interact with us on our Rapid Reviews Radio Twitter. I had to think of that for a bit.
Yes. Well, I'm going to tell you now, just as we close out, you are wrong about Deadpool, but I respect your opinion.
And you're wrong about Deadpool, but I respect your opinion.
Yeah, and that's going to close us out for the week.
Yep. And we'll see everyone next week. Bye.
Bye.